When we had to deal with the year 2K, or whatever you call the darn thing there, I had to get new computers for the girls in the office because they told me the other ones were going to explode at midnight, December 31st.
And you bought into that, did you?
I bought into that, but I says, the one that's on my desk, take it out and don't bother replacing it. So, no, I haven't caught up with that. That's another major difference, by the way. Excuse me for you bring up one of my pet peeves. You know, when I practiced law in the first 10, 20 years or so, you could do value billing. You know, if you had a client, you did something for him. If you didn't do anything for him, you probably didn't get paid anyway. So time didn't make any darn bit of difference. But if you had a client, you had a decent result and so forth, you could try to figure out a reasonable value for what you had done on the basis of the results and so forth, and give them a bill, and a lot of them would be happy to pay you on that basis. And today, my God, I mean, it's almost impossible to believe what the practice is. What the practice is, billable hours. Now, I have not become a slave to that, but I see virtually all lawyers are a slave to trying to say, well, this phone call was 5 minutes. I always charge 10 minutes. This letter was 15 minutes. Charge a half an hour. I mean, people are a slave to the system. They can't possibly know, and they can't possibly bill on the basis of time. I mean, my time in a case sometimes is driving a car. Sometimes it's at 3 o'clock in the morning when I wake up, thinking about this is what should have been done, this is what should be done. You know, how can you measure time in the practice of a serious case? I don't think you can. But that's the way the world runs. And that goes back to your question before, how have things changed? They have changed in that respect. 99% of the lawyers are a slave to computers that keep track, supposedly keep track of time.
Well, the word, too, on some lawyers is that if you looked at the billable hours, there must be 50 hours in a day.
Well, I don't know if you've heard that joke, but there was a young man that appeared in front of St. Peter's one day, and he said, "I'm John Doe." And St. Peter looked him up. He said, "My God, I expected to see a man that was 99 years old. I've been looking at your billable hours."
Yeah. Have there been some technology advances, though, that have made the work of a lawyer easier to do?
That one thing you don't like, the computer. I don't use it personally. But one has to remember that in the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, we were using typewriters. Well into the 80s, as a matter of fact. When you left here, you didn't have a computer.
No.
You left here in 1986. So there's no question that the computer, in its ability to retain all your letters, all your documents, you know, the creation of a will, the creation of a corporate charter or articles of agreement or a lease or any complex document has facilitated the practice to the nth degree. I mean, when you get right down to it, you don't realize it as you're living that kind of a life, but many of the things you do, you just do over and over again. It's a simple thing like letters. You'd be surprised how many of them can be just classified, a letter doing this, or a letter doing that, and a letter doing this. And in the course of law, they just repeat themselves. So the girls keep these things around. I can go to the computer, look over my secretary's back and say, you know, get me that letter that we wrote in such and such a case, change the date, change the names, change a few amounts, and it's the same letter.
So
Whereas
it frees up more time.
Yeah. And for the girls, too. You realize that the word CC at the bottom of a letter, most people in today's generations do not know what it means. I asked you today, what did you say?
I said courtesy copy.
Yeah, okay. Well, it's not that, Kenny. It's called a carbon copy.
But I do remember carbon paper. And I remember walking by, the secretaries would flip over 5 or 6 onion skin when they made a mistake.
Right.
And
they had to correct 6 pages.
Right.
And it took 10 minutes to correct 1 letter.
Right.
Today, it takes a split second to do that.